Samantha from Jessimo Tutorials here, and today I'm going to show you how to create a pendant using leaves on polymer clay. Now, to start off with, you're going to need some polymer clay. In this case I'm using Pearl White Primo. You're also going to want some leaves. I'm going to be using mint leaves, but you can use any leaves that have a decent vein imprint at the base. You're also going to want a mica powder. I'm going to be using this kind of dragon fruit pink mica powder. I'm also going to be using some black acrylic paint later on. Now, what we're going to do is you're just going to take these leaves and you're going to place them down onto your clay and stick them down so that they're completely flat, and then just randomly rotate them, picking different sizes across your clay, like so. There we go. Then you're going to take a piece of paper and just burnish over the surface to ensure that all of those are pressed into the clay and are nice and flat. There we go. Then grab your mica powder of choice, and I'm kind of going for a dragon fruit colour theme today, but feel free to go with whatever colours you want. I'm just going to take that and I'm going to dust that over while the leaves are still in place, so that it's only going to colour the spaces between the leaves and it's not going to colour the actual clay underneath the leaves. And I'll just do that for the whole surface. Okay. And then again, you're going to give it a burnish just to set those mica powders in place. You could also use paint, or you could use pastels, chalk pastels that is. You could also use alcohol inks if you wanted to. There we go. Then we're going to be lifting up those leaves. Let me just grab my craft knife, it will make it a little easier. And just pick those up and peel them off the surface. And that can take a little bit of time and patience, but you should be left with a really cool impression. And this is how it should look. So really nice, clean finish. And from here, we're just going to cut out our earring pieces. I'm going to actually just stick it down to the tile once again, just very lightly with the palm of my hand. Okay, and I'm going to bring over the cutters that I plan to use. And these might be a little big. Let me just have a look at this. No, I think they'll work, because I want to be able to see plenty of the impression, and it is going to be a pendant. So yeah, this will be fine. And what I'm going to do is I'll just position this into a spot that I like. Grab this one as well, because I want the two of them to line up. And then press. Cutting them both out at the same time. There we go. And I've just been careful because it's very easy to get the mica powder onto the white clay, so I'm trying very hard not to accidentally brush it. Right, and then this is going to get baked. There's going to be more things done after it's been baked, like I want to highlight it with black, but I don't want to do anything right now while the clay is raw, or while that mica powder is still sitting, and while the white can still very easily get stained. So that's it for the raw process. Just take that and place that on a piece of paper. It's going to bake on there, and it's going to bake for about 40 minutes at Primo's recommended temperature. And then from there, once it's cooled, I'm then going to show you how to antique the pattern with some black acrylic paint. it is out of the oven. So not much in the way of colour change. You can see there how it's got a lovely flash to it. The back we're going to do something about in a little bit. For now I'm going to show you how to antique these. So you're just going to grab some black acrylic paint. Any black paint will work. Also, again, feel free to use any colour that you want that contrasts your backing clay, so it does not need to be black paint if you don't want it to be. Just go with whatever you feel works. And then what I would recommend doing is just taking this, and you can use a brush, but you want to just paint the entirety of the surface, really working it into any gaps in the pattern, because what you want is for it to sit in the crevices of the leaves. Then we're going to let it dry, and then I'll brush off the top layer of paint, leaving only the paint in the crevices. So it's quite important to work it in there, but I like to brush the whole surface because the paint can leave a little bit of a staining effect. So if you haven't brushed the whole surface and have only done it in patches, it can be quite obvious once you remove the paint. So I'd recommend just covering the whole surface like that. And it should dry pretty quickly. By the time I'm finished with this one here, this one should be ready. Just quickly clean that. Okay, now you're just going to take a baby wipe or anything, any kind of rag, and just wipe over the surface, and that paint should come off very easily. It's something that should rub off very quickly, and because we've baked the mica powder on and burnished it, it shouldn't be at risk of you wiping it off. And then just go around and clear it off as much as you want. Remember to get the sides as well. Alright, and here is how that looks. I've then also gone and given the sides a quick sand and the back a quick sand. And the same goes for the other piece. You can see there. Now we're going to do something with the backs of these pieces. I'll put this one to the side. I'm only going to work with one at a time. And what I'm going to do is, this is baked clay, and I really like the reaction that alcohol inks have on baked clay. So I'm going to be just grabbing a selection of alcohol inks here, and you can see what they are on screen. There we go. These two are metallics, and then this is a white. So they should be interesting. I've then also got a little silicone tool so that I can apply it to the surface. If I need to. I'm probably going to be dropping them on straight to begin with. So I'm just going to open those up. If you're using metallic inks, make sure that you shake them well. Same with this one, because this one's technically an opaque ink. Shake all of those well before you open them. Alright, and then we're going to apply the ink, and I'm going to just, let's see how much. There we go. And just be careful, because you don't want to spill it over the edges. So just when using it, allow it to spread on its own. Now then, just drop this opaque ink on, and that should create just an interesting effect. Okay, and then I'm going to use this to just kind of spread it around. Again, careful around the edges. You don't want to have it spilling over the edge, because then it will end up spilling out onto the front of your piece. But just bring it all the way to the edges, and then you can just grab some and drop it around to get different effects. And you just want the whole surface covered. And I would do the same with the other one as well. And there we go, and I've done this one as well. I'm now just going to bring over a piece of paper, and let me just move that to the side. And I just am being careful with this, and I'm just going to place the paper there, and I take this and place it paper side down. Make sure your fingers are clean, and give it a press so that the loose alcohol ink gets soaked up. I'm going to do the same with that one. Again, make sure your fingers are clean so you don't stain the surface. And then just use that to soak up your extra ink. You can see especially with that one. And I actually have some paint over here. Let me just quickly remove that. There we go. And then let's lift this up. And there we go, you can see that's left quite a nice, interesting effect. And I'm going to put that away from the alcohol ink. I don't want it to get messed up. Lift this up. You can see there how that looks. It's got a little spot there still, so I'm going to just dab it again. And there we go. Move that out of the way. And then let's see how those two look. They look quite nice. I am going to apply one more drop of the pink over here. I'm actually going to use my tool here to do that, so I can be a little more direct with it. Do the same here, just drop a bit on here, and then I can just touch up the pattern. And then I will probably need to dab that again to just dry it up. And you can kind of dilute the pattern by using this white. And just fuss with it until you're happy. Alright, and then the last thing I want to do is just give it a spritz with some isopropyl alcohol to just get a few more bubbles going. So I've got it on a piece of paper so that it will soak up the isopropyl alcohol, and I'm just going to give it a spray from a distance. If it would come through. There we go, and let's see how that goes. I don't like to add too much to begin with. So there we go. I'm not going to do any more than that. I usually end up adding too much. But then allow that to dry. And there we go. I'm happy with how those look. This, once it's baked, is going to end up losing a little bit of its colour. Alcohol ink tends to fade a little bit in the oven, so I'm hoping that the colour, once it's done, will match a little more with the colour over here. But we'll see. I'm now going to grab a little bit of the acrylic paint again. That was way too much. Oops. And I'm just going to use this to just paint along the sides, because I think it could do with that. So just dab a little bit on your thing, and then just smooth that along the edge. And of course feel free to skip this if you would prefer, but I think it will tie in with the front, so I'm doing that. Alright, and I'm going to pop this into the oven for about 10 minutes, both to heat set the paint and heat set the alcohol ink, and then from there we can start assembly. Alright, and here they are to the oven, and there wasn't too much colour shift. Alcohol ink on baked clay won't shift as much in colour as alcohol ink on raw clay, because it just doesn't absorb into the clay as much. So if you're ever having trouble with alcohol ink fading upon going into the oven and on raw polymer clay, that is something to keep in mind. But now I'm going to be sealing both sides, so I'm going to be applying some Varnishing gloss varnish. It is a water-based gloss varnish. Pearl X is another good varnish that you can give a try if you want. I'm just going to be applying a light layer of that to the surface, and that will seal in those mica powders. And then once that's dried, give or take 15 minutes should be enough, then I will flip it over and I'll dry it. I'll add a layer to the back side as well, because those alcohol inks also need to be sealed, especially since they were set onto baked clay and not raw polymer clay. Raw polymer clay, sometimes they're a little bit more secured onto the surface than if they're on baked clay. And here is how it should look once that varnish has finished drying. So it's got a nice shiny finish, and it will seal in all of those extra bits and pieces so that they don't rub off. Now the next step is going to be to drill. I have already drilled this top piece, and all I do is I slot them together, and then I will grab a little handheld pin drill, and I'm just going to drill so that those holes line up, and that should be pretty quick and easy. Okay, and then you would repeat the same process for all of the little holes that you needed. There we go, and then go back through the opposite way to just make sure that that's nice and clean. There we go. Alright, now it took a little bit because it's a little bit of a difficult shape to join together, especially if you want them to be this close. So I saved you the time, and I've just used a jump ring to link the two pieces together. And basically all you do is the same thing at the top, where you just grab a jump ring. This one's a bit larger because I needed to connect the two pieces together. And you're just going to take that, pop that through, and then you would link the top piece. In this case, for this very top piece, I'm going to be just sliding on a bail for a ready-made necklace I've already got. And there we go. And I've decided to have it so that the pieces are opposite one another because I think they look quite nice together. And then obviously it's completely double-sided. But yeah, that is just about it for the tutorial. I do hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you like the tutorial, consider leaving a like and subscribing. And if you'd like to support the channel so that I can continue creating videos just like this one, please do consider becoming a member. There is a join button just below this video, or a link to my Patreon account. Both are exactly the same, where you get exclusive videos and early access to the YouTube videos. Another way to support the channel is to check out my Etsy store, Samantha Design, where I sell things such as the cutter set that I used in today's video. But yeah, that is just about it. I do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.